way, shape, or form, which could be the case, then that kind of sucks, but is kind of reality. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, no, I think everyone's on the same page. This is an evil, outrageous act,
Yeah.
and the sympathy for all the families involved. They should absolutely be questioned. That's like a normal standard procedure.
Yeah.
But we should not absolutely assume that they're automatically guilty by association.
Sure, of course
so
not.
I know that a lot of the comments underneath that White House tweet, or however they sent it out, was very much like, get them out right now, 6 one-way tickets tonight. And I think we need to.
Now, hold on, we got to understand what happened here. Right, yeah.
No, I know people are riled
Yeah.
up, but I think that, we shouldn't politicize this. We should actually try to find out what stemmed from all this. Like, instead of kicking them out immediately, perhaps there's a motion that we would spend time understanding, like, what the motivation behind this behavior was. Somebody
I
came
think we
into
understand the motivation pretty well.
I think
he
for
hates
the whole
Israel,
family, right?
He hates Jews.
Right, he literally should go to jail and go through due process and everything. But for the family to really understand what happened there, how could they be so disconnected to watch this happen? Was he in the community? I know he had a work permit, so he's working up until I think mid-year last year, and so he was around a lot of people. Did anybody want to report this frustration? Like, there are things that we do in our process to get to justice rather than just throwing everybody out of here, because then also we have no control over what happens next. And some people might like to see actual justice if the family was involved, or if he was a sole actor by himself who just planned this egregious act. I think that there is a process for a reason, and we should try to follow it, even though it sounds good. And politicizing it sounds good to just get them out of here immediately. The family may actually give valuable information to try to, make sure we understand this case in full.
No, I agree with you completely. I feel almost that some people are trying to turn this into an illegal immigration thing when it is more of a Islamic extremism, national security thing. These are not totally mutually exclusive. We should do better vetting, and we should, be deporting people who present some danger, certainly to the people around them, or not having them come here in the first place. He overstayed, what is the process for getting a tourist visa and getting a work permit? Is there any kind of vetting or monitoring done? Were there red flags with this individual who has such a visceral hatred of Jewish people or Israeli people that he threw homemade explosive fire weapons at older people, causing horrific burns? Were there warning signs that should have been followed? Those are all very valid questions that we should explore, and we don't want to preclude any avenues into that investigation by having immediate deportations. But to the tweet person I read, well, why are they being taken into custody? Well, if they're not American citizens, they can be taken into custody and they can be deported. You don't have due process rights, the exact same due process rights. You have some due process, because we want to make sure we're not deporting American citizens. We want to make sure we understand charges against you, but the actual deportation act is not. You have ironclad due process against, even if you're a non-citizen, against being prosecuted. It's different from just being removed from the country. That's kind of what we're working out with these immigration-related questions. The government can remove people from the country who are in the country illegally if it wants to.
With tragedies like this also, there are real victims involved and real people that are dealing with trauma and suffering after an incident as horrific as this. And I think that it minimizes it tremendously to try to point to what we've been seeing, Biden or something else, and make it an immigration issue, when there's so much conversation around what we can all do better to make sure that, somebody came here with a work visa, or, overstaying your visa is different than crossing the border and conflating the conversation. And I think now, while we should have that conversation in Congress and get real laws passed that maybe prevents this from happening in the future, we shouldn't try to figure out where to point the finger. We should just come together in unison and in unity as a country and say, this is wrong, and this person will be brought to justice to the full extent of our law.
Yeah. Next up, Taco Tuesday disaster. The Democrats' cringe dig at Trump. That's coming up next.